Hello folks, I'm Scott Grove. Today I'm going to teach you how to play beginner, lap steel or dobro, guitar for beginners in country, but we're using... Okay, so I'm going to give you a few pointers here right off the bat so you can know what you need before you get your video. Okay, so instead of the video getting there, then you realize you got to go out and get a bunch of stuff. Okay. First of all, I'm going to explain to you what this is. Right now, I'm going to actually teach the whole lesson on my lap steel. And C6 tuning, as I bring this down, is the tuning that they use for like the original Hank Williams type songs, where you would get like the... Okay, so that... Okay, so that is the kind of sounds we're getting. Now your regular tuned dobro tuning is a lot different than that. So again, pardon me while I use my camera guy here. This C6 tuning is very Western sounding as opposed to more blues sounding like the typical dobro tuning. Now when it comes time to if you're going to get a lap steel, I highly recommend, instead of getting something vintage, unless that's what you already have, that's fine. This is a 6-string. They make lap steels in 6-string and 8-string. A lot of people, if they have 8 strings, they just pull 2 strings off. Okay, so this is for a 6-string lesson. This is a PV power slide. $1.99 delivered. You get your slide, you get your gig bag, you get a strap for it, you get humbucker sounds, you get single coil, just all kinds of different sounds. The best guitar on the market for the money. Okay, the other thing that you really need to have, number one, like I said, it will come with a tone bar or your slide bar. They look like this, so you'll need to have one of those. Okay, now you have to decide. You can get those on eBay or your local music store. It's not a slide bar for guitar. It's meant for your dobro or your lap steel. It's not for steel guitar either. This is not for pedal steel anyway. You also, if you want to go the standard method, decide on, and I don't do it because I don't do it. Everybody has a preference. If you want to incorporate finger picks and thumb picks, I'll get my fancy camera guy. There he is. Okay, so which is basically instead of using your fingers, which I like to use. Okay, so you can actually be using these. So if you need to get them, go out and get them. You can see how to put them on. You just put them on, bend them around. 2 of them go on your fingers, and you just kind of bend them around your fingers. And then you get your thumb pick. Okay, so people will actually... I use them because I don't use them because I'm not very good at it. Plus I just don't like the sound of the things. But you decide what you want to do. You can even play it with a guitar pick for all that goes. Okay, the other thing is that you'll want to make sure is do not buy a regular set of guitar strings for these. Okay, so if you're using a lap steel, do not buy guitar strings for them. And do not buy just lap steel strings and think that whatever they are is going to work on there for this kind of tuning, because it will not. You need to get non-pedal steel guitar strings. Okay, this is 6 strings for not the pedal. If you get the pedal steel strings, you're up a creek without a paddle again. And they better be for C6, because the gauge of the strings is a huge factor here. So again, make sure they are for electric. They are 6 strings, not for a pedal steel guitar, and that they are actually specifically made for a C6 tuning. Okay, if you will be using a dobro, exact same thing. Here's the dobro. You've seen these. If that's what you have, cool. But they take the acoustic strings, not regular acoustic guitar strings, but again, same thing. C6 tuning for dobro, 6-string dobro for a C6 tuning. strings. So you got to get the right strings and the right gear for what's going on here. Okay, so that's basically what you're going to need. I'm going to cover this. We're going to stay with traditional country because that's what this whole thing's about. We're going to go right from the beginning like you've never touched this instrument before. So if you are somewhat familiar with the guitar, great. But I will be going at a slow pace for people who have not ever touched this instrument. Okay, so when you do pick up this video, make sure you pick up all this other stuff. One last thing, if you go out and get yourself a tuner, which I highly recommend, do not get a basic guitar tuner. Reason being is if you find one, make sure that it will actually tune up a C note. All the regular guitar tuners will not do it. Okay, they'll do your E, A, D, G, B, and then again E, but they don't have no place for a C. There's 2 C strings on this guitar. They got to be able to tune it up. These won't do it. So you got to find one that is made that has the C's and the weird notes, the F's and the C sharps, and make sure it will cover all 12 notes. Okay, so little $15 tuners will work, but you got to get the ones that actually have those notes on them. Once again, just a quickie, we're going to do the classic country sounding stuff. Nothing but, okay? So we'll learn all the typical stuff, the names of all the strings, but right into the meat and potatoes so you don't have to get bored. So we're going to learn how to do the fun stuff. You'll learn the single note stuff too that you'll need. Okay, so just your little stuff that you're going to have. But yeah, basically you're... okay, and some Hawaiian sounding things, but we'll discover everything that the instrument can do for you. So I'm coming back up with my fancy guitar, or my fancy camera tech. Pardon me while I don't shave. I don't have time to shave every day because I'm constantly making videos for y'all. So once again, we're going to do Dobro and lap steel in C6 tuning, classic country licks, and I will explain every little thing for the, pardon the expression, for the guitar-ed people out there who have never played anything, or if you've been a guitar player and you're wanting to tackle this, but in the C6 tuning, this is the video for you. We're going to get the good old, traditional, old 40s, 30s, 20s, 50s era steel guitar sounds. That's what they used back then, the cowboy stuff. Okay, so once again, Scott Grove, C6 tuning time. This will be the first video. There'll be more, but this will get you introduced to it. Okay, so hang on and grab your supplies before the videos get there. Otherwise, you'll be surprised. I know, bad joke. Catch you in a bit.